Well, hello everyone. Glad to see you all here. You came here to learn to be a god-tier Logi man, right?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty then. So, what you're standing here right now is known as a salvage field. So, in this case, this field can take a hammer and a sledgehammer to harvest. So, in this case, everyone show me your sledgehammers. Well, that's close to it. That's a hammer. We could use that, but in this case, I want to use a sledgy. Everyone, show me your sledgehammer again. And that's a shovel. You guys know you can't use a shovel. This here is a sledgehammer. Everyone, pull out your sledgehammer.
I don't have a sledgehammer.
Then go get a sledgehammer.
Hey, sorry.
So anyways, we can use this salvage field here to make a...
You just pick one of the trucks.
Oh god, here he comes! Run away!
Oh my
God.
Run away! Well, what are you guys doing? This is not how you get salvage. Oh boy.
Join us.
I'm lucky enough to wear a hard hat. You see, kids, this is exactly how you should wear hard hats when you're doing laundry work. So yes, this is the perfect field. So this helps us get a ton of resources. Mainly basic materials, which gives us, also known as B-mats, which will give us a lot of sexy stuff in the battlefield. We can also get diesel, which is the most common fuel found in this game. And then we also have explosive materials, or E-mats, what we call them, which gives us pretty much those medium-sized shells. So in the meantime, when everyone is full, we're gonna have a little interview on how we put this stuff inside vehicles. Now, all right. So, what are you doing with this resource container?
I'm putting the basic scrap that we've gathered from the scrap field into the resource container.
So, but for all the new Logi people out there, how do you do that?
So you first open it via the resource container by pressing E. You then click all the scrap into the resource container inventory. You then right click on the scrap and hit submit to resource container inventory, and then you're done.
Awesome sauce. That seems really easy enough.
Yes, it is.
Awesome sauce. Hello, Mr. VB. So what you doing with this stuff today?
I'm filling it with scraps to make some B-mats.
And how do you do that, sir? For all the
I'm
new
driving
people
it
out
toward.
there.
I'm driving it towards the refinery, and by putting first I need scraps. I can put them in the inventory by pressing E. Then I'll get a
I can't
window.
access the vehicle. It says it's locked.
Yes, you should always lock your vehicle because enemies can come and steal your vehicle, which means you lose valuable resources.
Awesome. Well, that's actually a pretty safe mechanism. Is there any way that I can access the vehicle, and you can also keep it locked at the same time?
Yes, if you are a squad and 3 persons are maximum in the region, then you can squad lock your vehicle. That means your friends in your squad can automatically use your truck without you having always to unlock it.
Awesome. So basically, using this truck is basically much the same way of using a resource container, except in this case, you actually get to lock it and make sure no one else steals your stuff. Is that correct?
Yes.
Awesome. I think using this truck is pretty easy enough. Don't you think?
Yes, it is. It is very simple.
Sweet. All right, Mr. Ramiel. So, what do you do? What's this vehicle, by the way?
This is the basic Logi truck, or as it is called in Wardens, the Dune Transport. You can see here, I'm putting my scrap in to be able to transport this to a refinery to get it all refined into E-mats. as we need those to make explosive weapons.
Sweet. We will need a lot of explosive weapons.
Yep, too many it appears.
So is this your Logi truck?
Yeah, yes it is.
Good. I see it's squad locked too, so we can access it at the same time.
Yep, yes you can.
Sweet. Thank you for taking part of this interview. Now,
No problem.
well, Mr. Dragoon, it looks like this resource container is full. Do you know how to package this up?
I sure do. Usually once it's full and you can't put anything else in it, you'll usually hit the E button to access it. And then you'll see at the bottom right there's some actions, and you'll see one with an arrow in a box, and you hit that for packaging. And basically once the process is done, it puts an anchor on top, which allows you to move the crane, put it on either a flatbed usually, and then you take it to the refinery.
Sweet. You know what you're going to be using these for?
Usually we'll make basic materials at a refinery nearby. Once you do that, you can make explosive materials or gasoline, and then usually take it to a place known as a factory to make things like guns and shirts to help keep the front line stocked up.
Awesome. Do you know what you're going to be making with yours?
Usually I'll try to make shirts as well as ammunition or explosives that are needed based on certain requests that people can place on a map or on the map.
Yep. Main reason why I'm asking is because I know that you're one of the most experienced Logi people here. So, thank you here for the interview, man.
Oh yeah, by all means.
Alright, so guys, so you hear all of the fun stuff about what fields you can scoop. Well, one of the fields you can scoop, where all those raw resources will go to. But I haven't really told you where exactly you can find this stuff. Well, if you look on the map, which is in this case NM, you will find different areas have different locations. For example, for the refinery, it's a nice little hammer marker, which as you can see right here, Cuttail Station. I'm going to turn off some of these here. The Cuttail Station, which is based in Setonic. This one is equipped. This major city here has a refinery. Just a warning that not all major cities have refineries. For example, our main fund is in Maiden's Vale. While Maiden's Vale does have a refinery, it does not have factories. So yes, and also in this game, there are two different type of factories, which I will explain on later on in this video. One of them is a regular factory. These here you can make all this type of make crates of resources, which you use BMATs, EMATs, which use BMATs, basic materials, EMATs, explosive materials, and RMATs, which are refined materials. I will do a little video on that when that time comes. In the meantime, the second type of factory is known as the mass production factory. The only difference between a mass production factory and a regular factory is that you can produce more stuff at a more cheaper cost. I'll give you like an example when that time comes. But guess what? In this one, you can actually produce crates of vehicles. Mass production factories are usually the busiest factories, and when you make vehicles, normally it takes between about a day or two, because a lot of people like to use it. And that's also known as the timer. And where you can put your crates of stuff? You can put them right here in the there's two different types of depots. You have something known as the seaport, which you can put all this stuff here. All this information you can see here is in the public stockpile, free for everyone take out and use on their own. A second one is known as a storage depot. These are the only difference between the two is that the seaport can actually store sea vehicles, water vehicles, just like gunboats, freighters, barges, all those fun stuff. Greetings everyone, we're at Cartel Station. I'm going to check out what VP is doing here. Hey VP, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm currently at the refinery, but I don't really know how it works. Can you show it to me?
Yeah. So, do you know exactly what the refinery is?
Yes, I know what it does, but I don't know which buttons. You can use your, for example, in our case, we can put scraps in and produce various materials like high explosive, diesel, or BMATs. But I don't know which buttons to press.
Alright, I'll help you out with that. Let me just hop in the driver's seat for you. So in this case, for the refinery, for what we're using, we're going to make BMATs today. So what you're going to do is you're going to press E. Then
Okay.
you on the vehicle inventory, it should be on the bottom left. You just, what you're going to do is you're going to see all your inventory. So in the middle section, you'll find icons left side saying what the raw materials are, and the right side is what you can turn them into. In this case here, we can turn into BMATs, basic materials, diesel, or explosive materials. In this case, we're going to make BMATs. How we do that, and the quickest way to do it, is that for BMATs, you're going to click on the thing, you're going to click on the material for BMATs, which is salvage, right click, and click submit all. That, just make sure your status is on personal instead of public, so you can actually use it for yourself and not open for the public. Unless you want to be a public Logi man and to do that. So right now,
That's how it works.
yes, it's pretty easy to use. But the more you get used to it, the better you become at it.
Thank you for explaining it to me.
You're welcome. But also, did you know we also have a lot of different things you could refine too, like components, crude oil, and sulfur?
Yeah. Could you show me where they are?
Yeah. In the refinery field, in the refinery menu, right under all the salvage, you'll find a component which looks like lug nuts. In this case,
Okay.
those you can turn into refined materials, also known as RMATs, and those you can create like special stuff like cement mixers, tanks, vehicles. Certain vehicles. Some vehicles take BMATs. Crude oil gives you that nice petrol, which is the high-end version of the diesel, but very hard to find. And sulfur can turn into, as you know, as heavy explosive materials, also known as HEMATs, which would let you make the big boom guns, like the 150 milliliters and the 300 milliliter shells.
Okay. Yes. So what are you gonna do with those BMATs?
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to show you guys how to not only use the factory, but also the MPF factory and how to build a vehicle using some of the BMATs.
I am one with a sledge of a
Oh
sledge is
god,
one
what
with
did we
me.
come up to?
I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am
That
one
no.
with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am one with a sledge of a
Oh,
sledge is
God.
one
Sledgy
with me.
cold.
Get him, boys! Get
The
him!
sledgy cold! Run away!
Make them force ram in!
Get him.
I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. Get him, boys! Get him! I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me. I am one with a sledge of a sledge is one with me.
Raymond, what are you doing?
A little bit of cheeky stealing.
What do you mean? How do you even steal the truck?
Ah, by a very simple tool, the wrench. It's my favourite tool to steal people's vehicles with, as it unlocks them. And you can unlock colonial vehicles or warden vehicles depending on which side you play as.
And you can
Meaning you
even
can unlock enemy vehicles easily. All you gotta do is walk up, crouch, and then left click. And that's it.
That
I can do it to
sounds
your
pretty
truck. I'll show. Right. Too soon. That's Sarge. Too soon. I'm trying up here.
But yes. So it looks like there's a timer
Too
for friendly
soon.
vehicles.
It appears it's... Yeah, there's a timer for friendly vehicles and enemy vehicles, it appears. I know it's because I try to steal enemy vehicles quite often. I have a habit, help me, I have a stealing habit in this game.
Well, I guess it's a good thing you like to steal collie stuff instead of...
Debatable, I like to steal everybody's stuff.
Understandable.
Now quick, I must run away.
You have a great day. Well, hello all. Welcome back. We're in another field. This is one of our good old sulfur field that gives us a very special type of resource called heavy explosive materials, also known as HE mats. As you can see, I am with the cult again, and
I am
we're
one
gonna
with
show
a
you how
sledgehammer, the sledgehammer is one with me.
And one with the sledgehammer is with me.
I am one with a sledgehammer, the sledgehammer is one with me.
You're
I am one with a sledgehammer, the sledgehammer is one with
Shut up.
me. I am one with a sledgehammer, the sledgehammer is one with me.
Shut up. Sorry, Gold. In the meantime, we're gonna this cult here is gonna show you how we're gonna harvest these sulfurs. Go ahead, my favorite cult. Go ahead and start mining.
Not time to mine.
I want sulfur. I want to consume sulfur. Bro, it's not the smell, it's the taste.
Alright, guys. Pretty much the same thing as I did in the salvage field. You can put your resources in either a regular Logi truck, which we don't have at the moment, or these the flatbed, which is resource containers. And you can also use the dump trucks over here to store stuff. The resource container can hold about 5,000 resources. The flatbed can hold up to about 3,000. And while the regular Logi truck can carry up to 1,500. As I explained before, these sulfurs can turn into HE materials, which can be turned into 150ml shells or 300ml shells. Well, guys, I have picked up my B mats, some of them. If you left click on these, left click on this result here, it gives you all of them. I didn't really need all of them, and I didn't crate it, so I couldn't keep it as my own, so I just put the rest back in here. I'm going to submit all this into the refinery stockpile, so other people can use it as well. I already gave 100 to Ramio here, and he's going to make us a Logi truck, because we need more of those. Let's see if he's actually doing it. Oh no. Ramio told you to make a Logi truck.
This is a Logi truck.
Since when does this look like a bus?
A bus can be a Logi truck. It's transporting. It transports human beings.
That's
It has storage space. It has all the things you would need.
I don't think so.
Bus. Who doesn't like a bus?
We were supposed to have 3 Logi trucks, now we can only make 2.
But bus.
Why
Bus
do we
is
even
funny.
need a bus?
Because it's funny. Right, I've got one thing to show you, mate. Let me just put these away. Right, I got one thing to show you. Watch. Watch. He's skirting. It'd be a drift bus.
Drift bus. We need Logi trucks.
This is good enough. Watch. It drift. Good enough.
Jesus, I have to do everything myself.
So what? I'm off.
So yes, this area is the garage. This is where you can make all these cute vehicles if the vehicles are tech. You can also make prototypes in here as well if there are prototype kits in here, for example these ones. The O'Brien Gravekeepers, also known as our bone saw, the bone saw armored car on the Warden side, is a cute little vehicle. Anyway, we're just going to continue on what I want to do and make these Logi trucks. Logi trucks comes in different forms depending on your faction. For the Wardens, they have different types of armored cars, or different types of Logi trucks. You have the Dune Transport, which is your original transport. Then you have the Land Runner, which is pretty much the off-road variant of the Dune, of the transporter. You also have the Leatherback, which is the armored version of the Dune Transport. And that's basically it. You can also build certain vehicles here for the cost of R-mats or B-mats. As you saw, my buddy here, which was supposed to build a Logi truck, built the Caravan, which was the bus, and look who it is!
So?
He finally came to help me build some Logi trucks.
Have you not noticed anything about what I'm wearing?
Oh God.
I am wearing Scout's armor now.
Of course
I'm a Scout man.
Of course he's wearing the Scout armor.
I'm a speedy boy.
Since when?
I'm in a boat. Since always. You just never knew.
This is sometimes why I don't know. I love hanging out with Ramiel.
Donk.
Well, this. After I grab these, I'm gonna grab my B mats. Grab some. I'm gonna steal some from the public as well. And I'm gonna show you guys how to use the factory and the mass production factory. I'll cut back to that when that time comes. And we are back again with this cute little Land Runner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some B-mats for not only my personal stockpile here, I also am probably going to steal the rest of these
Thanks, sir.
Alright, yeah, this is all my leftover B-mats I put in the truck. I'm currently at the refinery. I'm going to pick up the remaining of these. So I'm going to show you guys how to use both the mass production factory and the regular factory. I'll show you the differences between the two, both structurally and what they can produce. This is usually one of the long parts of when doing this. Also, I forgot to tell you, there are different controls for this function here. How to collect? There's two ways to collect. One, you can either just left click and it'll give you a certain amount. In this case, for the B-mats, it's 20 per. As you can see, 80 to 100. If you hold shift and left click, if you hold shift and left click, you get three times the amount the original one click will give you. For example, instead of 20, it gave me 60. 3 times level 6, 3 times level 20. Now I'll be back when we're on our way to the factory. Alright guys, I picked up the remainder of this, of what's in the refinery. So I'm gonna head to the first thing, which is the factory. And look, there's our boy Ramiel here. What's up, Ramiel? How you doing?
I'm good. And now I've got a motorbike.
I forgot to get some fuel because guess what? Stuff that you build, you pull out of the refinery. It comes out with only 10 liters of fuel. So you have to make sure you bring it to the nearest fuel truck and fill it up. Usually, the Logi trucks give you more lasting fuel and a better fuel economy than everything else. So these two buildings over here are known as factories. You can manufacture. Yes, you can manufacture small arms. For example, the pistols, rifles, SMGs, and when the time comes, assault rifles, machine guns, snipers. And these cost different things. Most of the time, these guns cost just BMAX. The only difference is on the Malone and the Rucker, which require a certain amount of RMATs to make. For example, the Rucker Sniper needs 200 BMATs and 15 RMATs to produce one, while the Malone needs 30 RMATs of refined materials just to create one. Rounds usually just cost BMATs. You have different kinds of rounds, such as 7.62s, which is classic rifle ammo, .44s, which is rifle. Again, it's revolver and this hangman's rifle ammo. Then you have 9mm, which come with the classic. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not 9mm. That's an 8mm, but that comes with the classic pistol that you carry on you at all times. And then you do have the 9mm, and those are for your submachine guns. And you also do have shotgun ammo as well. They're known as buckshots. You also have more heavier weaponry. What I have, you can see here, is a mod. It's for better, it classifies. So the red is for the better stuff. So it's the Neville, which is an anti-tank rifle, carries 20mm, 30mm rounds, 40mm rounds, 68mm rounds. That's RPGs, the Bonesaw anti-tank RPG, mortars, the shells. And this is where you can also build a warhead for the nuke. But when we get those teched, here you have engineering type stuff. For example, shovels, sledgehammers, binos, gas mask and filters. Here you got the bayonet, radios, fun stuff, medical stuff, soldier supplies. These are essential because this is how we spawn. This is what makes us spawn at places. And then you have your medical supplies. Here's what you would use on your bases when you protect them up to tier 2. They're known as garrison supplies and bunker supplies. And this here is just a uniform. The Warden uniform has different type of stuff. For example, the Collies don't have this type of uniform called the Specialist Overcoat, which is your heavy ammo's uniform. This one allows you to carry more heavy ammo than the rest. You have your engineer's uniform, allows you to carry more materials. There's your medic uniform, obviously to allow you to carry more medic supplies. Here you have this is your scout uniform. This allows you to go behind enemy lines without having to be spotted by watchtowers. And then of course here's your winter uniform when it starts snowing. And this is not tech yet, and this is our tank uniform. So this is our factory. Same way how we use it. Let's say for example we're just gonna make a bunch. Let's say for example we're just probably gonna make some we're gonna make some radios. We're gonna make like 3 crates of radios. So remember, once you select one crate here, you can't use anything else of these. Oh, no, correction, you actually can. So in the factory, factories have a maximum slot of 4, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this case, you can multi-mix things in different sections. For example, if you want to do 2 bayonets along with 2 binoculars, you can do that. In this case, both of these will be done in about 2 minutes, and I'll be back for those. So now, not too far from here, is known as the mass production factory. This sexy fellow over here. One visible difference between the mass production factory and the actual factory is the fact that it has a crane. You can also see it kind of looks like it supports vehicles too. The only difference between this one, see, you don't have as much options, but these, instead of you can mass produce vehicles, turn those into crates. Crates of vehicles can give you a certain amount. For example, we want to do the ambulance, it gives you 3 of them. Then the Dune responder. These will give you 3 at a slightly reduced price for 3 of them. For example, if we were to make 3 of these at the garage, you'll probably have to spend more than what you can make at you can spend in the mass production factory. Majority of these vehicles can only be produced, when you produce them, can only be made in 3 per crate. Right now, the only vehicle I know, there's a few differences, except for the Warden tanks I can see. The Devids, the tanks here come 1 per crate, or 1 per crate. Devitt, Outlaw, they're all 1 per crate. King Galleon, 1 crate. 3. Another big are known as the Kali MPDs, which are known as the Falchions. They produce 5 because they're known as mass production tank. And you can also make water vehicles as well, like the barge, freighter, the Roman, which is one of the wooden gunboats, which consists of a machine gun in the front and a 120 light artillery gun in the rear. Then we actually get the upgraded one called Mitora. It gives us 2 120s. You can even make our mass-produced CVs, also known as construction vehicles and cranes. You can also build structures here you can also mass-produce structures here as well, like the entrenched anti-tank, the entrenched machine gun, concrete mixers, and these usually gives you about a crate of 3. Make a bunch of resource containers as well. I am going to, in my case, that I didn't bring any arm mats with me, probably make some CV, you know. Great, now I gotta decide what I want to make. I might make some entrenched EMGs. Also, if you do this will also be usually in mass production factories. You can only do it 1 per, but you can make more at the same time. For example, these have mass production slots for the mass production factories have 9 slots in both the light, heavy, and infantry, and uniforms. The vehicles and structures can also produce 9. But as you can tell, these take a long time. But they're at a consequence that they'll take longer to make. For example, I'm probably going to make 2 EMGs. They're not going to be done for another 11 hours. Meaning I'll come back here tomorrow and pick these up, put them in the stockpile. With something I'll do off camera. In the meantime, let's go ahead and grab my other stuff that I had in the other factory. And I'm going to show you guys how to equip stuff in the stockpile. As you can see, here they are. In this case, as a Warden, I'm in Cutkill Station, all the way up at the very top of the map, in Basin Satone. And I use the map, it's messed up my driving. Don't judge. Here's a little tip about using the seaport. Do not block these pads. You can still use the seaport from this location. Just don't block the pads because people need to use them. Yeah, you can use the stockpile in different ways. For example, excuse me, I think I'm getting a little sick. If you click on this button here, it'll give you options to different stockpiles. Do keep in mind that because these are made and you can see them, doesn't mean you can pull all these stuff out because you do not have access. You could create your own your own private stockpile by heading to this plus sign here, create reserve stockpile, click it, and click your name. And in case of my clan, it'll be 454 Logi. So now you have access here. And how you can tell your stuff is reservable? If you go over your crate, it will give you that little writing there in orange saying reservable. If it does not say reservable, you cannot put it in your private stockpile. There's 3 ways to put it in. You can do it submit to stockpile, which I'll do it this way. Or you could do submit all, and we'll put all the crates in my stockpile. So, you know, I have 2 binos, or binoculars, and 2 bayonets. So now these I have keep in a backline, and I have in a backline logic. So I'm going to go ahead and create more shirts. I'm going to create more shirts because I'm going to bring those up to the front later. And that'll be put down in another time because it will be done off camera.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Depending on where you're driving on, your vehicle will gain different speeds. So like I'm not on the road, so the truck's not going to travel at its original speed. In this case, this time, I'm going to make some shirts. So those are required. And yes, if you find stuff here that's in the open, feel free to steal them because those are public stuff, and that's nice of them to give it to you. So I'm going to make some blood and make those. I'm also going to make some rifle ammo. These will be done very shortly, and I'll be back when they are all ready to be collected. Alright guys, this is currently what I have done so far in a little bit of short amount of time. I'm going to let you guys know that private stockpiles don't remain open forever. You have something known as an expiration date on private stockpiles. The only time they update is if you keep adding stuff into the stockpile. There are different ways you can transport all this stuff to the front. One way is by boats, which you can take stuff by water using a freighter or a barge. Or you can drive it in a truck all the way there, using crates and just driving them all the way there. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and try and build a freighter because we don't have a freighter. I'm going to bring it all the way to the front. Freighters are pretty hefty in cost. Because I believe they're 100 times 5. They are 100 times 5, meaning a total of 500 B-men. And what that means, that each hit takes off 5 B-mans instead of just a typical 1. The reason why I said 100 times 5 is because that's how many B-mans it originally is times the 5 it kicks away. So it will be 500. You do the math, 500. So I'm going to go ahead and steal some. And turns out we don't have any. So this will be a good time to show you guys how to use mines. Luckily for me, there's actually a few fields right down the road. And hopefully, a few mines down the road. And hopefully, we could use it. Sometimes people can get pretty greedy when it comes to mines. So, any type of mine. Back, we have a little conversation. In this case, as you guys saw, I'm not sure if you guys were able to see it, but it's 2 salvage per 1 B-man. Meaning, all I need is about 1,000. 1,000 salvage, and we're good to go. Also, you can kind of tell the difference. That this flatbed, I'm sorry, not flatbed, this land runner, this half-track Logi truck, sacrificing some little sloth. Sacrifices a sloth. So yes, these are mines. In this case, this one is known as a salvage mine. These mines, as long as they're fueled, keeps producing salvage for us. Keep running, you get a ton. Of course, they top out about 5k as well. When they reach their max, they stop working until you pick them up, and they'll go back at it, right back at it. Normally, the right thing to do with these is to just, every time you use them, just fill them back up. That way, they keep producing. And they're ready for the next person to when they go to use them. All I need is about 1,000 salvage. And what I am actually just reached. So I'll be back when I get those demons. I'm going to go ahead and build that here and show you guys how to do one form of transportation. And we're back. Look at this cute sexy thing. We got ourselves a freighter. So I'm just going to move this close to the seaport so we could use it. The good thing about these freighters, they have 2 types of storage. They have regular storage, and if you press F, it will open up the bigger compartment to store the ocean. Also guys, when it comes to bridges, you have something called telekinesis powers, where you can actually open and close bridges from inside your ship. See? All you have to do is press E, boom, there it is. And I'll see you guys at Maiden's Vale. And welcome back, fellas. As you can see, I have made it all the way down to Maiden's Vale in Marvin Hollow. So I'm gonna put this down in my. I still have to make a frontline Logi area. Logi stockpile for me. And then I'm gonna call it quits for this video. Let's go ahead and line ourselves up. See, I don't have. Here we do. Some of these I do have access. Well, only one of them have access to, which is the A4 YAC. Anyways, I'm going to create my own private stockpile by pressing that plus sign. I click, boom. Oh yeah, also, if you want to know how to access it, it gives the original creator a passcode. And all you have to do, and you see this little keypad here, all you have to do is put that code into here, and you have access to this stuff, all the stuff that's going to be in that stockpile. Well, in the meantime, I'll call it quits here. I'm going to go ahead and put this boat away. And you all have a fantastic time. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like and subscribe.